get my water right. Hey man, we here. Look, this is big for us.
We're not playing
already
tonight.
know what it
it's
is.
Not a game right
We're
now.
not playing, man. We're not playing around. When we talk coming, we coming, man.
We gotta get ready.
Gotta get ready. Hey, look, I'm saying clink. Let's clink it up. Let's chop it up. I'm too excited.
It's all about this you right now, man.
So, oh man, wait till y'all see what we got
for
lined
games.
up for you.
We not
playing around. Playing around, man. Let's go.
Welcome to the You Heard Podcast.
I'm hurt, dog.
Ben and Joe break down all things Miami Hurricanes football.
Don't ask me if I'm all right. Hell no.
From hot topics to pre- and post-game analysis.
Joaquin said dominate, and we not doing it.
You heard.
I put my heart in this, dog.
Ladies and gentlemen, the 1982 High School All-American, 82 Defensive Player of the Dade County, 1983 National Champion, third overall pick in the 87 draft. Got to take a breath. There's so many accolades here. Let me keep going. One of the 50 greatest Hurricanes, Super Bowl champ, scout with the Packers, 30 years in the NFL, heavyweight boxing, 27-1-2, knocked out Mark Gastineau. Ladies and gentlemen, the general manager of the football operations for the University of Miami Hurricanes, Alonzo Highsmith. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Zoe. How you doing, sir?
Man, I'm excited to be here, and I'm sure we've got a lot to talk about, but excited.
Thank you so much for being here, sir. Again, man, thank you very much.
It's an honor to be here with you guys.
All right, Alonzo. First question I got for you: how good did it feel to call Bosworth a bitch at the Orange Bowl, national TV, and set the trend for what we've become?
Well, you know what? I think about those moments in time, and at that time at the University of Miami, it was a very special place. We were in the process of building something, and I think basically what I said at the coin toss was basically the whole attitude of the team, the city of Miami, and what we represented as a football program. We accepted any challenge, and if you were going to challenge us, we weren't going to back down, and we were going to step up to the forefront and tell you what we thought about you at the same time. So it was just it was just a mindset, and I'm happy to be back at Miami now because I enjoy talking to the players, getting to know the players. Last year, I've sat back and watched because I really couldn't. I was catching up to the speed of college football last year. So, in talking to Mario, I came here because of Mario Cristobal and Dan Radakovich. I wanted to be part of what they were building. It sounded excited to me. And basically, it was a challenge to me. I don't think you can be good in anything in life without accepting a challenge. And that was a challenge to me. It was a challenge to attend the University of Miami, come out of high school when there was no reason to come to Miami. Howard Schnellenberger challenged myself. If you come here, you can help make this program better. And in return, we challenged other kids from the state of Florida to say, come to Miami. Let's make Miami great. And every day was a challenge. We accepted the challenge. And that's what we've got to do here at the University of Miami now under the direction of Coach Cristobal, because I think he accepts that challenge. And you can see it in his passion for football, his work ethic. And I think anyone who walks in our building, you have to be ready for that challenge, to accept it, embrace it, and understanding who you are and who you want to become.
Absolutely. Wow. That's fantastic. That now I want to touch base on what you mentioned about at the beginning when Coach Schnellenberger recruited you. You had a chance to go anywhere, right? And you wanted to stay in Miami, you wanted to bring back the program. This is a kind of a twofold question. Why did you decide to come to Miami when you had a chance to go anywhere else? and now in 2023, do you see that local players are accepting the challenge, or kind of, wait and see pattern with Miami?
Well, for myself, when you say accept a challenge, there was nothing to compare it to when I came to Miami. Miami was a program that won 7-8 games a year. A few years before that, they had lost to Florida A&M. I had really never heard of the University of Miami until probably about 1980, 1981, because I grew up in Montreal, Canada. So my childhood was Michigan, Notre Dame, Oklahoma. I remember watching Florida State in the Orange Bowl against Billy Sims, and I thought that was what college football was. And I don't remember Miami being part of that growing up. I know they had some great individual talented players, but as a program, they weren't mentioned with the elite programs across the nation. And so when I came out of high school, I was all set in my mind. I was going to go to Oklahoma or Notre Dame or Michigan or maybe Florida State and Florida. Miami wasn't really in the picture until I met Howard Schnellenberger.
Wow.
And he told me what he thought this program could be and where it could go if we had the right type of kids and we had the best Dade County football players stay in Miami. We had the best players from Palm Beach, from Brooksville, Florida, from all these parts of the state of Florida. If we got those elite players to stay home in town, we could build something special. And he challenged me. He said, look, you can go to Notre Dame. They've had a glorious history. You can go to Michigan. They've had a glorious history. But if you come here and you do what I expect you to do with all these other kids, we can dominate college football and win for the next 20 years. And I wasn't sure if I believed him, but I took the challenge. And, I went to Christopher Columbus High School in Miami, and Miami became my home. And I thought it was an opportunity to play in front of my friends and family in Florida. So I decided to take that plunge and, hey, let's make this place special. And that's what we tried to do.
Yep. So now in 2023, what's the challenge in keeping the Dade County, Broward County young men home? What's the challenge now?
Well, for me personally, I've been in the NFL the last 25 years, and I've watched this program from a distance for a long time, and I saw its peaks and valleys. And in the last 10 to 15 years, the program hasn't been where a lot of people expect it to be. We've had several different coaches. We've had change, and we still haven't risen to prominence in college football. And every year at the Combine, I would ask players, how come you didn't go to Miami? How come you didn't? And they would all tell me, Miami didn't offer me. I think there were kids who wanted to come to Miami, but they weren't offered by Miami. And, we took kids and they came and it wasn't successful. And it was just down. That's all. And the challenge when I came back, when Mario Cristobal came back, when Dan Radakovich came back, the challenge was to let's get this place where it's supposed to be. And since the day I got here, I've rolled my sleeves up with the help of the personnel department, Juan Navarro and Stephen Schrum and Dennis Smith and, Andrew Rogers, Landis Simpson, and Mackenzie Rizzi, and all these people who are in our personnel department and college recruiting. So let's get together. Let's bring this place back, because Miami's a special place. It's a great town. It's even better than when I was in college. So you know what? Let's bring a national championship team to the city of Miami right now. And that's the challenge. The only thing I know is championships. And if you're not the best, well, you need to be striving to be the best. There is no, you played well, you 6-6, 7-5. That's not acceptable. The goal is championships. And you know what? Excuse me if I'm moody, if I'm not in a good mood because we're not winning, it's because I care. And it's because it's important to me. And I know what it takes to win. And I want to be part of a winner. And if you don't care about this, probably because you've never won anything before in life.
Right.
So, I want to be around people who want to win. And Cristobal wants to win. Dan Radakovich wants to win. And I want it for these players. I'm tired of hearing about the past about Miami.
Oh, lost him. Oh, we lost him. He'll come back. Oh, that was hey. Zoe was preaching. Like couple technical difficulties, man. We'll get back with you in a second.
Yeah, he's here.
Oh, he's here. Let's go. I see camera. What up, Zoe?
Hey, man. All I can say is this is the reason why I do not want an electric car. I can't even charge my phone.
Oh, that's the comeback. That's how you come back. I love it. Hey, welcome back. Hey, you were in the middle of preaching some truth there. That we had all these questions of like, oh, this conversation that we're having right now could be the whole podcast.
Yeah.
So you were saying we were talking about the challenges, you know what I'm saying, that you face and the staff that you're working with, and just want to get you back in that frame of mind. First of all, again, thank you so much for even joining us, man. It's an honor for us.
It's an honor to be here with you guys because you're ultimate Hurricane fans and you represent the city of Miami and you're fans of the program. And, one thing as a player I've always thought about, I've always thought about representing the jersey or who I am or the name on that jersey, whether it was Pop Warner team, the Alexander Park Rough Riders, or Christopher Columbus High School, or the University of Miami. When I always went out there, I wanted people to say, that guy's one of the best players I've seen. And it was a challenge. And I don't think you can succeed in life without challenges. And you have to be able to challenge yourself every single day to get better. And, not only are you challenging yourself, but you're challenging your teammates. If one guy works hard on a team, it does no good if you don't have 50 other guys accepting that same challenge. And one of the things that made this program so special was you had a bunch of kids and a bunch of players and coaches who accepted challenges, and they challenged themselves. And they might not have been the best, they might not have been the fastest, but they accepted every challenge and they left everything out there to meet that challenge. And, that's the only way I know how to win. I take it like this. Coach Johnson said it. Howard Schnellenberger said it. I don't block. I don't catch. I don't tackle. That's on you. X and O's are great, but at some point you have to accept that challenge, because Howard Schnellenberger said this: football is an individual sport before it becomes a team sport. Each person's got to win their battle. And when you get 11 guys accepting that challenge, each one of those guys going out to win their battle, you can become a successful team. Because this time of year, every team that is lost, every team that had a so-so season is doing the exact same thing we're doing now. How many teams are going to be willing to accept the challenge, that challenge of getting better, and that driving force that says, last year wasn't good enough, so I'm going to have to push myself further, push my teammates further, coach harder, scout harder. And that goes on as an organization. That's what we have to do. And I'm confident in Coach Cristobal. I'm confident in Dan Radakovich with this program. And not only do I want to see football succeed. I want to see basketball. I want to see track. I want to see the University of Miami succeed. And we all have to accept that challenge.
Yep.
You want me accepting that challenge at the university where you played and brought the prominence to it and made it and put it on the map, right? Like you said, there was before you came here and brought players like Jerome Brown, the Michael Irvins, and so on and so forth, Lamar Thomas's, and we know all the greats. But now, this has to be for us as fans, right? Watching the program from the outside, obviously you being on the inside. What are the biggest challenges that you face now as the general manager of football operations, and what is the daily life of that position like at the University of Miami? Because right now you are obviously Cristobal is the head coach in the Schneller, but like you're facing the challenge that Schnellenberger faced when he came here. So you're walking into those same shoes in that path. That's got to come a moment for you, doesn't it?
Well, it's I mean, I make football pretty simple. We got to get great players. We have to get players who want to be great. We have to get players who want to accept challenges. We have to get players who are willing to give more of themselves. When you're willing to give more of yourself, you can become a good team. And that's simple. I mean, I don't mean to sound so simple, but that's pretty much it. It won't be how many stars you have behind your name. It won't be where you come from. It's going to be about your DNA, what you're willing to sacrifice, and are you willing to give more of yourself for the sake of team? And I think coaches do it. They get there early in the morning, they leave late at night. Players have to give more of themselves in order to win for the good team. And when I say giving more of yourself, that means if I'm a backup player, that means practicing at a high level so that when my opportunity comes, I'm ready to excel on the field and help the team win. That's what giving of yourself means. Everyone has to give more of themselves in order for us to be a good program.
Absolutely. That's absolute 100%. When you're evaluating players and you're evaluating recruits, walk me through the criteria other than, of course, the mental part of it, the mentality. What's the criteria you look for a Miami Hurricane player when you're looking at recruits out of high school?
Well, I start the day off watching film every morning at about 6:30 in the morning.
Wow.
And, you just go through players, you go through players, you go through players, you go through players, and you see a player that meets those qualifications you're talking about. Number one, he's a good player on the football field. He plays with passion. He plays like the game means something to him, and he's a smart football player. And that's what people forget about. Yeah. Jimmy Johnson always said this. You have to be – good football players are smart. And what I mean by smart, they do all the right things on and off the field, and their contribution can't be measured by size and speed.
Challenges, son. Challenges.
Challenge. Yo, like, I'm gonna listen to this back. Like, I'm gonna listen back to this like when I'm in the gym and I'm just listening to Zoe talk. Like, are you honest today? You know what I mean? Like, that's
challenges, son.
He is dropping some gems, man. Just
challenges, man. As you guys can see, man, we having a great conversation with Alonzo Highsmith, man. He's dropping jewels for us, man. And we have a lot to chop up, man. But we don't know how long we're gonna have them, and that's okay. We got them. You know what I mean?
Got them.
So, so.
Man, like, you know what it is? I feel like he's dropping so many gems that, like, I'm saying that he has to be pulled away for a second because I'm trying to process everything he's saying, and he just drops another one and another one and another one. Yeah. It's like, man, like the mentality, the evaluation process, just getting inside his head is like how he sees it, man. It's crazy. Yeah. It's a crazy like this is an amazing moment for me personally.
Yeah.
Just you know what I'm saying, like him just dropping those gems is crazy.
Yeah. And I'm always
Crazy.
curious with how older players from the 80s era, 90s era, how they view and look at the players today. You know what I mean? What the expectation is. Is it the same expectation from the 80s? You know what I mean? A lot of these newer, it's just time, evolution, right? Bigger, stronger,
Yeah.
faster. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Everybody's gotten bigger, stronger, faster. Like you can't,
Facts.
so are you looking at them the same as you were looking at players in the 90s, or in the
Yeah.
80s?
I think the good thing about Zoe, as he slowly comes back on, the good thing about Zoe is he was in the league and he was present with the evolution,
He
right? Like
saw the evolution.
he saw the evolution, he saw the stages of like, oh, they're doing this. So his eyes kept adjusting. So that ability to evolve with those times is what to me such a brilliant person, because he like when I was doing my research, he wrote a letter to every single NFL team. It was like, hey man, just give me a chance. Like let me work with, let me do anything with the league, you know what I'm saying, with the program after his heavyweight boxing career. And he's taught, and I was like, that work ethic, that comes from him and his family. You know what I'm saying? Like that work ethic is different. To like, yo, you know what I'm saying? Like to write everybody a letter, every single NFL team, and figure out your next position, to like grind in that way is crazy. It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Definitely.
Man.
So we waiting for Zoe to come back, man. We all heard the news that Coach Steele is on his way to Alabama.
Yep.
He's heading out. So less than a month to spring ball, and we are without coordinators currently.
Again.
Yeah. So what do we do, man? Is it as simple as promoting Charlie Strong, Coach Strong, or what?
For me, it makes the most sense because we can't continue to have a turnover, and you know what I'm saying, in that way to bring, because if you bring in a new DC, then that DC is probably going to want to bring in his own guys. So then what do? You got to let go of this whole staff. Like, Miami got money now. You know what I'm saying? But like that's a lot of turnover in another year. Another DC might not know these guys. We could have the same issue that we had last year with Gaddis not knowing anybody on the staff, and you know what I'm saying? And then it becomes a whole nother disconnect. So to me, if you have the players and the personnel already in the building, promote Charlie Strong. You could put, I guess, Jason Taylor, or you get a linebacker coach, you know what I'm saying, that Charlie Strong is comfortable with, and you do it that way, because we can't have that. We're not going to be a good team if we continue to have this kind of turnover. It's impossible. It's impossible.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think that's the easy answer, right? We've heard Coach Strong wants to go to the league, and we've heard that. So to me, like, if you can't get a commitment, like I was hearing, of course with all the rumors, but with the OC, I heard, certain clauses are like you got to have a 3-year commitment. We got to have you here for 3 years at least, and hopefully that can be the same, with the DC or with Coach Strong. We need you here for at least 3 years, and then we can build some continuity, like the great teams do. You know what I mean? So I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to having Coach Strong in there for a couple years, man. Get it in, get the ball rolling, keep the ball rolling, and then hand it off to somebody young, So
because I'm saying he is an older cat. He is an older cat. Needs somebody to take that over. Who knows? It could be somebody. I'm saying a Jamil Adai, because he wants to. I'm saying he wants to move up, which is why he moves constantly and tries to get his. I'm saying his foot in the door. Now the other question is, what if Kevin Steele wants to take some guys with him? You know what I'm saying? Like you just never know. Like you could see a Jamila die.
Yeah.
You could see a Jamila die going with him because it's the SC. You know what I'm saying? Like we keep it a buck here, man. Like it's not over. If Saban gonna keep poaching, you know what I'm saying? Like from a 5-17, like that's just. I mean that's not too far out the window. Yeah, that sound effect sounds legit. Yeah, that's exactly what I would say. Yeah, it's not.
I didn't even think about any of that. You know what I mean?
That's
I
why we
wasn't
have these
ready for
conversations.
that conversation, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no. I mean, nobody is ready for it, but we do it here because you look at things one way and I look at things another. And that's how this works. You know what I'm saying?
Let's
like
just
if we
talk about the OC, man. Forget all that.
Oh yeah, because there's nothing going on there. There's nothing going on with the OC. Every day it's a new name, man.
And we've been hearing names. Who out of all the names you heard? All the names we heard. So we heard Nuss. We heard Frost. We haven't really heard Frost a little bit. Frost has been out there a little bit.
Yeah, Frost at like the beginning of Friday and then Saturday, Candle took. You know what I'm saying?
We hearing Candle now.
Yeah.
We've also heard I can't remember the dude name from the Eagles. We've also heard that name. Brian Johnson. Brian Johnson.
Yep. The kid he coached at LSU. Yeah. I say kid, it's a grown ass man, but yeah.
So out of the four, Brian Johnson, Nuss, Candle, and Frost, who do you think we talking with?
I think we're talking with all of them. We'll communicate. I think like you ever go to the fair and you know the little horse race game where you gotta like hit it with the water. I think they all running together. But I think it's with zero sources, right? Because it feels like nobody really knows. Right. It feels like it's more advanced with Candle because of how far it was last year. Right. You know what I'm saying? Especially with Tommy Reese going to Alabama. So it feels to me like Candle with Kevin Beard seems like the most sense.
You know what if Notre Dame goes after Candle now? I'm hearing that could be a possibility. You know what I mean?
Oh, then I have no. I'm not emotionally ready for that conversation. Just like
then we back in the same boat. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man.
You know, keeping it a buck. The last OC wasn't the first, second. I don't think the first, second, or third choice. You know what I mean?
That was like fourth or fifth. Like he was off of recommendation from somebody that Mario knew. From what I heard, you know what I'm saying? From what I heard, and it was like, oh, but look at his accolades type of thing. But it's like, man, it's too much, man. It's too many. It's like if it's just Steele, like back to the DC talk, like if it's just Steele, all right. You know what I'm saying? Like it's an easier move as far as staff wise and all that. But if he takes guys with him, because there's that part where like, all right, Jamila Dye goes and then you just move DVD. But I was like, I want Jamila Dye with DVD. You know what I'm saying? Like I want those two together. I want those two youngins together and being the young energy in the room. If Jamila Dye leaves, then that really just leaves DVD as the youngin. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So like I want that young energy to keep them old heads young. You know what I'm saying? Wanting to keep going.
Yeah. It's if things go down this off season that let's say, you know, we get an OC that's our fourth, fifth choice, you know, that's not Jason Candle, Frost, you know what I mean? OC, Coach Steele leaves.
Yep.
Coach Steele leaves. He takes DVD and a die with him. Let's say I'm gonna have to believe there's a collusion going on within college football to keep Miami away from. Yeah, I'm gonna have to believe it, man, because I've always in the back of my mind felt like coaches have been sent here to damage the program. You know what I mean? As molds to damage the program, son. Like I've been feeling that way for a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. But if it happens this way this year, I'm gonna have to be like, listen, man, this is enough, fam. Like,
I feel like, damn, like, son, like, that's crazy. That's all right. So, like, you're saying, like, who did it start with?
Like,
Who did it
like Al Golden.
Yeah. Randy Shannon.
You know what I mean?
Randy Shannon?
Not Randy Shannon. Not Randy
Wow.
Shannon.
Yeah, Al Golden seems right.
Al Golden, Zoback.
Okay, we're here.
For a minute.
Tell you about this phone. It got wet a few days ago, and for some reason, it won't hold a charge. So I apologize.
That's okay.
Hey, no, you're fine. We were talking through it. We were talking conspiracy theories over here, but that's, you know what I'm saying, that's you'll hear that on the back end. All right. Yeah. So let's get back into it. So when you're evaluating talent and you're looking at the tape, what are the things that stand out to you first, and what are the things that, when you look at tape, because you've been looking at tape and the way you watch tape is different than anybody that you're ever going to listen to, that we'll ever listen to. So you're the guy for this. So what are the things you look at, not just for a player that makes a Miami Hurricane, but what are the underrated things that you look at, like, okay, this is what makes him different. This is what makes him a Cane.
Well, I think one thing you always have to look at, besides the speed and the size and all those sorts of things, does he play the game with a passion? Is he consistent? Whether you watch one game, 2 games, or 3 games, is he the same guy? Is he a smart football player? And you can tell by someone's effort on the field how much the game means to them. You're always looking for guys that make plays, guys that tilt the field in their team's favor, that when they walk on the field, they're a better team because of his ability. And on top of that, you find out all the other things. Does he love to practice? What's his work ethic like? So all those things embody what it takes to be a good football player and to be a Miami Hurricane. And the number one qualification to be a Miami Hurricane, you got to like playing football. You got to be smart. The game's got to mean something to you. And when you can find those type of players that have a story, I think I've been God blessed to have been around some of the greatest athletes in the last 25 years, and I listen to players talk, and they have a story. There's a story why the way they are. You can't tell me the game means something to you, and you can't do everything else the right way. When you find players that care about football, when I look at a Cam Kitchens for us, he exemplifies everything you want a young man to be in a football player. Not only is a good football player, but as good a football player is, he's probably a better person. And those things make up what you're looking for in a football player.
Yes, man, definitely. How important is the eye test to you? Like, you said you get up and watch film. You're on huddle
6:30 in the morning
all day, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But actually getting eyes on a kid, going to practice live, going to a game live.
Because of the way college is, we don't have scouts, we have coaches. Once you identify those players, you tell Mario, you tell the coaches about the player. We have a system where everything we watch on film goes to the coaches. The coaches go on the road, and the coaches come back and they say yes or no on this player. I saw him, I watched him, I talked to his coaches, I watched him practice, and that's where it ends.
Wow, nice. Okay,
Keep going.
Okay.
I know you got more. I know you got more, Joe. Go ahead.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
How NIL is humongous now. How
I know nothing about NIL.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a part of the business that I'm not involved in. I don't get involved in. I mean, that's another part. The coaches don't get it. That's an outside resource that does that, and that's where that ends and starts with me.
Okay, good. Hey,
all right,
that works, because I'm sure that's difficult part of the process. Yes. How involved parents, right? I have a son that plays college football. How involved do you guys like want parents in
Well, you know
their
what?
child?
I,
Mhm.
I think as far as parents involved, 99% of the parents are great parents, and
Mhm.
they understand what the business is, and the business is your son getting a quality education. He's somewhere where we care about him more than a football player.
Okay.
And I always use myself as an example because I've been in every chair there is in football, as a recruit, as a player, drafting players, all those sorts of things. I would probably say the most important thing for me, if my son was to say he wants to be a Hurricane, and as parents, we want my son to go there as well. I want people who care about my son more than his football ability, because football is the easy part. If you're good, you're good. If you've got a work ethic, that's all good. But I would love my son to be somewhere where they care about him more than his ability. We're trying to build young men beyond football. We're trying to build men who are going to be husbands and fathers and community leaders and great men in the future. And they can look back and they can say, you know what I can say about my coaches? They cared as much about me being a great person as they cared about me as much as being a great football. Because always remember one thing. Anytime you sacrifice athleticism over the right things, you lose. And you can't win. You can't win like that. You have to have good people. I want my son playing for coaches who care about the individual. That if my son's going to be at 1,200 miles away from me, I want to know the people who are leading him are men, have the right virtues and right values for my son. Because when you think of it this way, they're going to be playing football at the University of Miami for the next 50, 100 years, And it's not the school that makes great players. It's great players that make the university that name, the U. It's players. It's those players who lay it on the line every Sunday. That's what gives you the opportunity to hold up to you and win national championships.
Yes, sir. Yep.
He's dropping so many gems, and the way he's like talking, it's so much to process. It's like you're in class with a teacher and you're learning some shit you never seen that way. You know what I mean? Like crazy.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to. Let's jump back to that conversation we were having about some. You think that there, what I'm saying, like there's a whole like thing going up against us. I'm gonna be honest with you. I've felt the same way because the shit has never made sense to me.
Fam.
Like,
For
how are we like,
for 20 plus?
yeah,
Like,
it don't make sense.
I understand the leadership has been faulty. Like, this is what I do understand. Some things you could get away with back in the 80s and early 2000s.
Yeah.
You definitely can't get away with now. Miami and the administration never evolved into the big money part of college football.
Facts.
So we thought we can continue to win with the minimum, doing the bare minimum. And obviously that's not the case. So that could be it.
but with so many different coaches, like that can't hold all the answers. You know what I'm saying? Like, because somebody, even a garbage can gets a steak. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't have been this bad for this long, and like you miss on almost everybody. Like, what you know what I'm saying? Like on everybody. Like when you see, I was watching Shannon Sharp, his little podcast thing, and I'm saying Club Shay Shay, and he had DK Metcalf on, and DK is like, I wanted to go to Miami, but they just never.
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing?
But I think like there's some cats that we look at hindsight now. Obviously, they're good now, but there's some cats in high school that just let's keep it a buck. It wasn't getting recruited like that for
Yeah,
real.
yeah.
I don't know
Yeah.
if I know DK Metcalf in high school. I don't think he was a major recruit. You know what I
Fact,
mean? But
facts. But
you know, that's talent evaluation, right? You know what I mean?
that's what the people who get paid to do these things,
Mhm.
you know what I'm saying, come into play. Like, yo, he's gonna like he went to what, Old Miss, right?
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like that, you telling me the guys at Old Miss didn't, you know what I'm saying? Like they saw the same player. That Old Miss ain't no bum school.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's a big time program. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's SEC, but that's SEC. That's the best football in the country. I don't know, man. It's just wild. But that's crazy that you think that way, because I was like, how we got all these coaches and we look exactly the same,
Son.
Like,
And being in, because even if cats are saying we don't have the talent, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
We haven't had the talent. Fam, like we all know, we've had enough talent
Yeah,
to produce better.
yeah,
You know what I mean? We've certainly had enough talent to win the ACC Coastal numerous
yeah.
times.
Many times over.
Certainly.
Yep.
You know what I mean? When we had Kaya and Coley at receiver and Amon Richards and Mark Walton, like,
Yep.
man, we had
Duke.
certainly
We had
enough.
Duke.
Dude, yeah,
We had Duke
certainly.
with
Stephen Morris with that cannon of an arm, man.
How-
like
that is the just,
Philip Dorsett, track
Yeah.
speed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and just never like it.
Yeah.
And it was always weird to me is like the other teams that we play against that have like similar-ish type players, they'd always overperform, and we just always be like, I'm like, how? So like we have Philip Dorsett. Philip Dorsett is better than anything you have on your team, but somehow we can't figure out how to get Philip Dorsett more involved, or it was so over and over and over again. Like Amon Richards balling, you know what I'm saying, but 1 year because you know what I'm saying, like the neck injury, just like all these different things. It's like, how is everything all the time working against us? How is that even possible? You know what I'm saying, like we can't. You know what I'm saying? You had Wake Forest play in a ACC championship game.
I feel like everybody from the Coastal has been to the, except not Virginia Tech. I don't think Virginia has.
No, I don't think Virginia has.
But you know, we're one of the team. Well, we went to the championship.
Yeah, we got blown out.
I mean,
blown out. Yeah,
I was there. You know.
Yeah,
but you know, it was just good to have, you know, that party in Charlotte, because it was you know, we had a hurricane party and all that. It was crazy. So but we should be in Charlotte every year. We should have been in Charlotte every year.
Yeah, it should just be a regular thing. It shouldn't be a thing to celebrate. It should be expected.
And that's what the ACC was thinking when they put us in the league. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
when we joined the
they
league.
thought it was going to be Miami FSU every year.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Like that's why they put us in different conferences. And now there's no conference, so it's just the top two teams.
Yeah.
Now there's no different divisions. It's just wild, man.
Yeah, and that's going to be harder. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so that's going to be even harder to get to the top two. That's you got to beat Florida State, and we play Florida State and Clemson.
Yeah.
So we have the path to be able to do it, but young team, you know what I'm saying?
Challenge, man. That's my word. Challenge. Zoe talking about getting challenged, man. We got to challenge
that shit on a shirt
every day. Yeah.
I'm putting that shit on a shirt, man. Challenge, period. Green and orange, faded. You know what I'm saying?
Daily deposits, man. You got to put your daily deposits in.
Man, that's so crazy. So when he's dropping those challenges, I was like, yo, Zoe, just keep talking. Just go, man. When he's dropping those challenges, that was crazy. Yeah. Oh man, what a crazy conversation, man. And again, like it's literally he just drops gems, you know what I'm saying, and his phone dies. You know what I mean? Like his phone can't handle that challenge. His phone hearing that shit, like, yo, this is too much for me, man. This is too much. Challenge, man. Challenge.
That man said, I don't deal with nothing with NIL. I don't
need hard out. Just
right.
No.
Like, nah. And I feel him because that's crazy right there.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? The staff can't talk about it anymore, but that's it's a legit question. It's a fair question, I think. What he dropped on us today was was crazy, man. Like that chat, like it's true. Like it's true when it goes. Football is simple. You know what I'm saying? It's about being a good person. Period. You know what I'm saying? A good player. Like always being in the right place at the right time. Like just not doing nothing stupid. Not you know what I'm saying. Whatever that might be. Like knowing your play, being prepared, and for him to call out Cam Kitchens as being that guy, that friend for Alonzo Highsmith to be like you know what I'm saying? You're what it is to be a king. That's so heavy. That's crazy right there, man. So
He's back.
Here we go. He's back.
No more interruptions.
There we go.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
And
we were just saying how big
We've
it
got
was.
all night now.
Let's do it. Hey, let's keep going. Unlimited now, though. We can keep talking. We were saying how big it was that you singled out Cam Kitchens, because to us though, like you are the embodiment of a king, right? Like you came here and faced the challenge when Miami had no history, and you started this run for us that made us fans and made us a national brand, so on and so forth.
Well, I
For
would
you to
say
single
this.
out Cam,
I will say this: it wasn't about me. I was part of it. There were a lot of players. There were a lot of players. And I tell you what, I give credit to the guys who were there in 1979, 1980, 81, 82, because those guys taught us what toughness was. And I mean, I accepted the challenge, but knowing the Dave Heffermans, the Albert Bentleys, and the Bernie Kosars, and all these people gave us the courage to be tough. I always say this: the 1984 national championship team probably might not have been as talented as some of the other teams, but I would take that team in a bar fight over anybody. And that's what this program embodied: toughness, passion for the game, a tremendous work ethic. And that's the only way we're going to get back to where we need to be. It's going to be work ethic, players willing to give more of themselves, and accepting challenges. I believe in X and O's. I know X and O's is great, but at some point, you got to fight. Hey, you're going to have to back it up. You're going to have to give more of yourself, because one thing about football, it'll take a lot out of you. And if you ask anyone who's ever done it, whether they knee injuries and all those sorts of things, they would do it all over again. And, you know, I've been, God bless, have been around great people in my life. My father was a high school coach. I grew up in an era where every coach patterned themselves after Vince Lombardi. It was toughness. It was, you know, there's no calling your mom and dad because you're not playing. That's on you. You know what I mean? And so that's what my mindset is, accepting challenges and bringing it to the table every day, on and off the field. And when we get these type of players, we'll be a good football team.
Yes, definitely. What do you see any fundamental differences between players now and, you know, players, you know, in different era, in the 90s and the 80s? Like, are there any fundamental differences that you see in the players?
You know what? Football was different back in the 80s and 90s. The game has changed. Players are bigger, stronger, faster. They're more in tune to their bodies. But it still takes the mental toughness, passion for the game, work ethic. None of that stuff will ever change. You can never compromise that. That must never change in whatever sport, wherever you're going to do in life. Yeah, things change in life. You know, instead of horses and buggies, we got cars, but you still need passion. Yep. You still need energy. You still need to be a team player. Those things will never change.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
I have a question. where does that work ethic come from for you? Because after your heavyweight boxing career, you wrote a letter to each NFL team to get an opportunity to come into their program or their business, because you knew you had something to offer, because you knew you wanted to be around the game, and you've been around it all your life. Not a lot of people would do that, right? Like to write a letter to every NFL team just cold, kind of how I did the message when we first communicated, right? Where does that work ethic come from for you? Was it your father? Your how did that?
I think it all
Because that's
came
not
from
everybody.
my dad my dad played 13 years pro football. He was a journeyman football player, and the only thing we ever talked about in our home was work ethic. And I'll never forget, my dad's never been mad at me at football or anything like that. The only time he kind of dog cussed me was he saw me not hustling on a play. I was 12 years old, and he ripped into me about my effort. And he said, I don't ever want to see that again. And he said that whether it's practice, whether it's game day, it's 100 miles an hour. You give everything you've got. And if that's not good enough, so be it. And that's kind of been my approach to life. It's pretty simple. It was unfortunate that my pro football career was miserable because of the knee injuries and all that kind of stuff. And those things happen in life, but it never wavered. It never wavered my determination to succeed. And I always knew I loved football. I thought I was a scout when I was playing because I used to evaluate players, and I used to, the opponents were watching, they would say, this guy's a first-round draft pick or second-round draft pick. I go, no way. Or watching someone else on film, and I say, man, this guy's a good player. Look at his flexibility. Watch him run. He makes plays on the field. And that stuff never changed in football. Now, we make football harder than it is sometimes, but it still comes down to running, blocking, tackling, toughness, physicality. All those things will never change in football. And if those things are never going to change, you're going to have to be willing to accept the challenge. The challenge is you push yourself to be the best football player that you're capable of being. And that's all you can do in life. And when I see young players who aren't living up their capabilities, I'm going to let them know, because don't do it for me. Do it for yourself. Do it. Make yourself proud, because we're a better football program when you're a good football player. You just don't show up at Miami and we're going to be good. No, it takes players to make the University of Miami a good football player, to be a good football program. And you have to accept that challenge and understand it. If you want people to come to your games, win. You want to see 70,000 people in the stands, win games. That's all it is.
Bottom line. Yes. Bottom line. We're fans, Some people we're gonna support. We're definitely gonna support. But yeah, definitely. I get what you're saying totally. You mentioned, X's and O's, are, somewhat important, but the players have to be the players. So currently, I know we can't get into the, OC and DC or OC search right now, whatever. But in the locker room, do you ever see is there a I don't know, like a disconnect between, when you get a new staff in and the old staff? Like, how do you guys handle that part of it? When a whole new staff comes in, you may have your players that you bring in, and you have players from the old staff in, and sometimes, yes, sir.
It's pretty simple. It's not going to matter who the coach is. It's all going to be on you, the player, and those coaches are going to pick the best 11 players to play. Okay. Personally, the only thing I've been concerned about a coach is making sure that I'm one of the 11 best players when they put that roster depth chart on the board. Anything other than that is no concern because I still have to block. I still have to run. I still have to do my job. And if I don't do my job, somebody else is going to do it. And that's what my dad taught me as a kid. I don't matter who the coach is. They can bring in Mickey Mouse as the head coach. Nobody likes a coach if he's not playing. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And that's always been my approach. I've only been concerned about one thing, making sure that I'm a starter. Doing everything what it takes to be a starter. Not starting because of a name, not starting because I'm supposed to. No, you're not supposed to do anything. You got to earn everything you get in life. And your approach to practice, your approach in the weight room, your approach to academics is what sets you apart and it's one of the reasons why you're a starter. That's the only thing I can control. I can't control who the coach is. That's not my that's not my business. I chose the University of Miami because I wanted to go to the University of Miami. Who the coach is who the coach is. Whoever the coach is, he's going to get my best every single day. That's the approach I've always taken. It's not a selfish approach, but it's an approach that gets you on the field because you're going to get on the field because of your individual talent. Yes. And then it becomes a team game when you put 11 players on the field and they're playing together and everyone does their job. And that's all I know. I don't really know a lot about football. I've been involved in football my whole life. You know, I don't know if plays can work without good players. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right. I think that's just so much. That's just so much. What you got, Joe? I know you got something else. Keep going, man. I told you this is. Oh, you got water.
Right.
All right. So when I was doing research into having you on the show, I came across a story that blew my mind again because it goes back to everything you're saying. You and Charles Woodson were in the same gym in Houston, right? It was after he broke his leg, and you were working for the Packers at the time, and you go and you told your bosses at the Packers, hey, this Charles Woodson guy might be after his broken leg. What did you see in that gym that was like, hey, this obviously Charles Woodson being Charles Woodson, what he became, all that, but what made you be like, yeah, this is gonna be something?
Well, I knew Charles Woodson was a great college football player. The Raiders weren't winning when he was there. They went to the NFC Championship game, they lost, and there was a lot of things said about Charles Woodson after that season when he became a free agent. There weren't a lot of teams trying to sign him. And I happened to be in the same gym in Houston, Texas, where he was training with a guy named Danny Arnold. And Danny Arnold told me, he goes, hey, this guy, Charles Woodson, you guys need to sign him. Look at him. And I said, really? So I started going to the gym every day. And I noticed Charles was there every single day, never said a word to anybody. All he did was work. And then he came up to me one day and he goes, hey, Zoe, can you do me a favor? He said, you got some high school kids who can run fast? I said, yeah, I got a couple. Can you bring them to the track at 2 p.m? And I'm going to give them 30, 40-yard head start. And I got to catch them in running 200s. Now, this was about 100 degrees in the hot sun. That's how he liked to train. And I called the Packers and I was like, hey, we got to sign this guy. And then, there was the backlash. No, we can't. There's been a lot of the Raiders, a lot of things said about him. I said, listen, I don't know a lot about the Raiders. I can only accept somebody for who they are. And this guy had a phenomenal work ethic. So long story short, we ended up signing him, and he's one of the reasons why we won the Super Bowl. And he won defensive MVP, and the rest was history.
Yes, sir.
That's crazy. Yeah,
yes, I love watching Charles.
But the most important thing was you work for people who listen to you. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
and believed in what you said. So that only worked because my boss listened and he trusted and said, okay, let's give it a try.
Yep. Yep. That's an incredible story. Charles Woodson is one of my favorite players of all time, man. And yes, Charles Woodson has been fantastic for a long time. I watched him at Michigan, and I love that guy. Him and Desmond Howard, two of my favorite
Charles
players.
Woodson's probably the best defensive player, one of the best defensive players I've ever seen. Phenomenal talent. But you know what? You know what the most impressive thing about Charles Woodson was? How smart he was.
Mm-hmm.
Man, his football IQ was that of Einstein. He dared you to throw certain passes and challenged you. And he was a lot like Ed Reed on the field, and like a lot of the good ones. Not only were they good football players, they were smart.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So Zoe, I again, we appreciate you. You know, I know it's late. We're gonna get you out of here shortly.
It's still early.
He's got tape to watch.
Yes, you got film to watch. I already know. We got to break down.
That's tomorrow.
as fans, you know, we can be impatient. We can be impatient sometimes, man. We understand. Some of us understand a rebuild. Some of us, don't understand. But as fans, how close are we? How close is the University of Miami to competing for, playoffs, in the playoffs, compete for championships?
Well, you know what? I can't, I'm not good at predicting any of that, but I do know that if our players are willing to accept any challenge in front of them and they're willing to go the extra mile, if they're willing to give more themselves, I think all things are possible. And I think they can accomplish whatever they want to accomplish if they do it as a team. You may be less talented. You may not be as big as everyone else, but 85 guys together can become a mountain.
Sure.
And an unstoppable force if they all believe together, they all work together. There's been a lot of great teams that won championships that weren't the best teams or the most talented team. And that's when football becomes the beautiful part of the game. What makes it is a total team effort. And it's going to take coaches. It's going to take the players, the trainers, the weight staff, the personnel staff, all headed in the right direction with the same message. The most important thing at the University of Miami is the message of Mario Cristobal, making sure that we relay those messages to the players and the players understand the clear directives of what we're here for. And you came in here to get your education and win. That's it. Anything else that gets in the way of that is a distraction, and get rid of it.
Yep. Yes.
It sounds like a lot, but from the day you enter in as a freshman, and I'll just use 4 years, you've got 1,460 days to get better.
Wow. I'm writing that down.
Every day you waste, or every week you waste, or 3 months that you waste, that's time that you don't get back. So the process should be for you as a player on and off the field is making sure you're going in the right direction, in that you're totally committed, no agendas. It's not about you, because if we're great as a team, everyone will benefit from that.
Yeah, definitely.
1,460 days.
Yeah, I just wrote that down. Yes.
Yeah, me too. That's amazing. Oh man. So how much interaction with you being the GM of football operations do you have with the players? Because just this one conversation with you, Alonzo, has inspired the shit out of me. Like I don't have any eligibility left because I'm old and got a bad back. But I'm just saying, like, what are the interactions like with the players now? I know they're going through the off-season program and the weight training and all that. What
I get
is
an
your interaction
opportunity.
with?
I see the players every day, and we speak every day, and the coaches speak to the players. We're all in this together. We all have interaction with the players, and I didn't come to Miami to be the savior of the program. I am not the savior. I'm just a part of the motor, and I want to make my contribution to the program in any way possible, whether it's film evaluation, talking to the players, talking to the coaches, helping Mario along the way, helping Dan Radakovich along the way, making sure that the ship is steered in the right direction, and we're all speaking the same language, that we're all receiving the same message, and that message is to win.
Yes.
Go ahead, Joe.
I've always been, and this is more of just a curiosity question. Now, I'm pretty sure I know the answer, but how much do you guys pay attention, if at all, to social media, to fans? Do you guys even pay attention to that?
No, I don't. You know what's weird? Even as a player, I really never paid too much attention to it. We didn't have Twitter and all that kind of stuff, but social media is a big thing. And as an individual, if you allow it to be a distraction, it can be a distraction.
Yep.
And to me, the only way to stay ahead of the internet and Twitter and what's said about you is to work on being a good player and winning.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody's saying you're a bad player upsets you, well, become a better player and they won't say anything.
Right.
Just,
right.
The beauty and the simplicity of that. That's just, you don't want people to talk about you. Be better. You know what I'm saying?
Be better.
It's you versus be better.
If you don't play well, you don't win. Well, there's things to talk about.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy these players. I enjoy our freshman class that's coming in. They're good kids. And the players that stayed, didn't get in the portal. I enjoy being around them. They're good kids. And now it's their time. It's time for it's their time to step out into the spotlight and make their mark on the University of Miami. We've heard enough about the past. The past is dead. It's not coming back. We can all talk about the past, and we all know it's the past. And I mean, I've always had a unique perspective of being able to just put that stuff behind. I don't even like really talking about when I played very much. More people talk about it than myself because I'm more concerned about today. Yeah. I want these players to enjoy winning. I want them to accomplish great things. I want to see them get their education. I want to see them win an ACC championship. I want to see them in the playoffs. I want that for them. And I want to see them hoist their names up on the banners, and people forget about Ed Reed and Michael Irvin and all these great players that played here. And I want them to take that challenge and say, it's time for me to put my mark on this program now. It's time for us to win. It's time for us to be pillars in the community. It's time for us to bring this city together, and that's on us. And I want that for them. I don't want it for me. I don't want it for the past. I want it for these coaches and these players who are here today and their families to enjoy success.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. You're in the community. You talk to kids, you talk to parents, you talk to coaches. You talk to NFL scouts, NFL coaches. What is the I guess the excitement level about the University of Miami football right now? Like, is it still an excitement? Is it like a wait and see? What are you gathering from people out there?
Well, you know what? I think deep down inside, I think the University of Miami has always been one of those programs that it's been the good guy and the bad guy at the same time. And people want to see the Miami team they remember. You know what I mean? People want to see Miami winning. People like the orange and green. People like the U. You know, we're a unique program in a unique city. And I think if when Miami's good, I think it's good for college football.
Yeah.
You know, it makes college football more interesting to me. But in saying all that, we have to do our part. We have to get better. And we're not going to experience any of that unless we win football games. And that's the bottom line. We've all got to roll up our sleeves together. You know, we have to give the kids in the city of Miami a reason to come to the University of Miami. As players on our team entering the 2023 season, we have to accept the challenge, to challenge ourselves to be better. Family-like atmosphere, lots of love, lots of hard work, a lot of tears, a lot of pain, and giving more of yourself. All those sorts of things embody what we want to be as a program.
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm in Charlottesville, and I'm waiting for Miami to be in the conference championship. You know, you got what Miami was here in 2017.
Yep.
I believe in the championship. Yeah, I was there. It was a great atmosphere. Like, Miami fans are all over, like really, literally all over the place.
Yeah, you know, that's the most surprising thing to me is, you know, how many Miami fans across the nation there are. And the University of Miami travels better than people think, you know? And but we have to do our part. We have to be better. We've got to get the winning culture back. We have to win games. And the only way you create culture is by winning. And winning fixes a lot of issues. So, you know, that's the challenge. We got to win. Just win.
Yes, sir.
Just win. So we're gonna just so you know, we're gonna be at the spring game. I'm here in Central Florida. Joe's up in North Carolina. We're gonna be at the spring game. We're as fans, as content creators for the University of Miami, we're invested, man. Like this is the only team I've ever loved. This is my number one team over everything. Yep. And just to hear you talk about it and the way you talk about it, and just saying challenge, it reverberates in a way that I wasn't ready for. Like, I had a whole plan of what I wanted, and then you just started talking. I was like, holy shit, this is something totally different. And I just want to hear everything you have to say, because it's so many. We talk about gems. You dropped so many gems on us today that I'm going to have to listen to this back and reprocess it again, because it's what everything you said is simple, it's eloquent, it's to the point, and it has been just an honor to have this conversation with you. I know Joe over here, you know what I'm saying, he was quietly hyped up, because this is, you know what I'm saying, evaluating and talking to you was something that he really wanted, and just being able to have this conversation with you, it's been amazing. We're gonna keep talking. Like, I'm not saying that like we're wrapping up. I just wanted to make sure I said that on record, that this has been an amazing experience for me. Just everything you've talked about. Like I said, if I wasn't almost 40, you know what I mean, with a bad knee and a bad back, I'd be whatever. If you need me to drive a bus, I got you. You know what I'm saying? Like,
we'll keep you on the sidelines. You can watch.
Yeah, Yeah, I'm okay with that. You see, I look great in green and orange. You know what I'm saying? If you knew me, I'll stand right there with you.
Yeah.
This has been the challenge.
That's right.
1,460 days. Joe, you got anything else?
No. I definitely appreciate you guys, man. I definitely appreciate you. Miami is a huge part of people's lives, I think, more than a lot of people know. You know, I'm from Queens, New York, man, and Miami football is the first college game I ever watched. Miami and Florida State, man, and I fell in love back then, you know. So late 80s. So man, I just love it, and it's an honor to have spoken to you. I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, I feel the same way too, because the first Miami football game I ever went to was the University of Florida. I was a junior in high school.
Yeah,
and they played in the Orange Bowl, 72,000 people. I saw a team come out and smoke. And it was my first college football game, and I didn't know who the team was running out in smoke, and they said, "Here come the Hurricanes." They ran through that smoke, and I'll never forget calling my mom that night because they were in Canada, and I said, "I know which college football team I want to play for." She said, "Who's that?" I said, University of Miami. She goes, "They got beat by Florida A&M."
So I gotta ask this. When you ran through that smoke that first time, what was that feeling like?
It was a feeling of accomplishment. Because I said when I was 8 years old, I wanted to play college football. I didn't know where, but I told my parents that I'm going to be a college football player. And you never know what it's like. It's almost like a surreal feeling when you go back to Pop Warner, you go back to junior high, you go back to high school, and not many people ever can experience that. So you take it as an honor. You want to live up to something. And, you know, I've always thought about the movie with Roy Hobbs, The Natural.
Oh,
yes.
Yep.
And they asked him one day, said, "How good you want to be in baseball?" He said, "Well, when I walk down the halls and when I walk by people, I want them to say that's the best player that ever played." And those are the type of things I kind of thought about when I came to Miami. The work ethic. I wanted to be a representative of the community. I wanted my high school to say he went to high school here. I wanted my neighbors to say, "Hey, he was my neighbor." I wanted my teammates to say he's the toughest guy I know. That embodied a lot of things, and a lot came with it. But those are the things I thought about running through the tunnel at the University of Miami my freshman year, and kind of still sticks to me in a lot of ways. I try. I think if you can make things pretty simple in life, and it's all going to come down to your work ethic, your passion, your desire, your unselfishness, willing to give more of yourself, and those qualities embody whatever job, whatever you want to do in life. Those are the things that are going to carry you, and you know, whether you're playing football, whether you want to be a doctor, an architect, engineer, entrepreneur, there's going to be pitfalls. You're going to get knocked down. People going to tell you you're not good enough, but that's the challenge. And you know, and you can look at a challenge in any way. A challenge to get to work on time every day, a challenge to get there early, a challenge to do more than you did yesterday. And challenges come in all aspects of your life. And, you know, when you're not challenging yourself and you're not getting the best out of yourself every day, you can become like a pond. It just stagnant water. You're just there, and I've never wanted to be just there. So, I don't look at myself as some great football player or anything like that. But I will say this: I'm going to give you everything I've got. I'm totally committed to University of Miami football. Totally committed to Mario Cristobal, Dan Radakovich, and the athletic department. And not only seeing football succeed, but everyone succeed together. And when we're all able to throw up to you and say we're a great place, we're a national championship caliber place, that to me that's what it's about.
Yes, sir. Yes,
You
sir.
got anything, Joe?
No, man. I know.
I know.
I still get that feeling, man, when I'm at games, and I go to a lot of games, and as much as, especially, when Miami comes up this way, Virginia Tech, Virginia, the Carolinas, Georgia Tech. Me and my wife went to Texas A&M game last year, and that feeling still hits me. When the smoke, the beginning of the game, I can't sit down, man, and it hits me every single time, and I love it, man. So, man.
So I will say this: those 7 games we lost this season, it hurt, So,
sure.
And I hope it hurts. I remember Jimmy Johnson used to say this all to us every time we ever lost a game. He'd say, "Remember that feeling. Remember how you felt after that game." And if you can remember that feeling, how you felt after that game, you'll accept the next challenge. And I hope these players know that hurt, that pain, that feeling, walking off the field versus Middle Tennessee, Texas A&M, Pitt, Florida State. That if that doesn't get you, I don't know what else. I don't know what else can get you.
Yeah. You shouldn't be there if that. Yeah. We were just talking about being sore losers, man. Yes.
Yeah. Terrible loser. I'm a terrible. I hate it. It ruins my whole weekend.
Yes.
I'll say this, and Joe, I don't think I've told you this. Last year was. Look, I'm gonna be completely honest. On this podcast, we have this thing. We keep it a buck. For a long, I would watch this program every Saturday for a while with the distance because it hurt too much, right? Like I would watch it. I know everything that's going on. I can tell you all the stats, but last year I hated it more. Like I hated losing more because we saw the investment, we saw the staff, we saw the passion that Mario has for this, the passion that you have and the work ethic. So last year was like the first time that I hated it even deeper. Like I hated losing because I remember all those losses more, right? Because for 15, 20 years that we lost. But
well, I'll tell you this.
The losses felt worse.
I'll tell you this. As much as you hurt, trust me, it hurt these players and coaches even more.
Yeah.
And hopefully we can look back years from now and say there was a reason why. And we can build from that and say, you know what, maybe it was a starting point. Maybe it was something that had to happen and we moved on from it and we're better for it. Because I know fans hurt. I know the university hurts. I know everyone who's a fan of University of Miami hurts, but nobody hurts more than those players and coaches. And everyone who does the daily grind of trying to make the team better, from the nutritionists to the trainers to the cheerleaders to everyone who puts in the man hours to make it work. They hurt as well too. So, I mean,
Damn.
All right.
Whew. Man, listen.
I was about to hit him too. Like, yo, we got OC yet?
No.
About to slide that in there, son.
If he comes back, he's getting that question. Oh, here you go. Here we go.
Yeah. Like I was saying, I understand the fans' passion, but you'll never hurt as much as the players to,
Facts.
or as
Yeah.
much as the coaches do. Because remember, in our business, I mean, job security is on the line, whether you play or whether you're a coach. So, I know the fans are upset, but hey, we're pretty upset too, because those players put in those man hours and practice, long hours, and prepare.
Yes,
So
sir.
everyone's got something invested.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yep.
What you
I
got,
know
Joe?
that being a former college football player, man. I know. I argue, go back and forth with people all the time, man. Y'all did all the work these players put in. You cannot feel anything close to what they're feeling. So yeah, we definitely know that.
Yep.
Do we have a OC yet?
Just figured we'd ask.
You know what? I don't know.
Okay, that's enough. That's
enough.
That's the shortest answer he's given the whole show.
I don't know.
Everything else comes with wise words.
You know what though?
I don't know.
I
Come on, look. I feel like this one he shut it off on his own. This one, he's like, oh, no, they took an OC. Whoop, Control Alt Deletes.
We'll get it when we get it, man. We'll get it.
Oh man, yeah, we'll get the news when we get it, man. Oh, that's too funny. Oh, that's too funny. Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
We'll get
This
him back
ain't
in a
amateur
second.
hour. He caught it. This ain't
Yeah, he's
amateur
like, this man said, I don't know. Not today.
Yeah.
Not today. He goes, nope. Y'all ain't getting me.
Banana in the tailpipe, man.
They ain't getting me with a banana in the tailpipe. This ain't Beverly Hills Cop. Oh, that's too funny.
You know what I mean?
Oh man.
Man, beautiful, man.
All right,
beautiful
man.
conversation.
This is
man.
lovely.
I love it.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look, we got nothing else for you. Zoe's probably gonna hop back on. We're gonna talk to him offline. Feel like we're giving y'all enough, man.
Yeah.
I still want to talk to him because I feel like the man does not sleep. Probably sleeps like 3 hours and gets up. But yeah, man, this has been something, man. Like again, I came in here with a whole plan, and it just wow. Yeah. I was not expecting this, Joe. Like, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I was not expect 1,460 days. But 1,460 days. You know what I love? He comes right back. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm about to challenge my son, man.
This has been a crazy night with this phone. It's crazy.
Hey, we just happy you here, man. I'm about to go in the room right now and challenge my son to everything right now.
Yeah.
Man.
All right, so I was saying we're gonna end it here for the podcast. Zoe, we'd like to talk to you a little bit longer, if that's all right, because we got some things we wanted to ask you and just keep picking your brain. But it's been an honor for us, you know what I'm saying, like to have you on the show and for you to constantly come back on. Look, this means the world to us. This is a momentous occasion for myself and Joe, and just everything you've dropped. Challenge 1,460 days, be better. That to us has been incredible. So thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. And hey, we're going to try and right the ship and get this thing going in the right direction. That's all we can do. And I don't think you're going to find a better coaching staff and a better organization trying to get this thing right. So we're all in this together. You know, our goal is to make the city of Miami proud, the University of Miami proud, and you know, bring something special to Miami.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Joe, what you got?
Nothing, man. We with it. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Fantastic Sunday night. Fantastic.
Yeah, fantastic. All right, guys. Catch us next time.
Take care.